Welcome to May Development Update Review. In my head, I see most classes archetypes will have a standard range of builds, i.e. most mages would do well to spec into spellbooks or wands. Ashes will give you the choice to play a mage that can use a two-handed sword. If you choose to do this, feel free to, but don't expect to keep up with the mages that have chosen a weapon type that synergizes with mages. I think Steven is on the same train. I also agree with his sentiment about the balances in 1v1s being rock, paper, scissors. I think that the closer you balance 1v1s, the more the classes start to feel the same. And I hate it when the classes feel the same. What do I think about cutscenes? I like cutscenes, but I feel like if I'm in an open world, that a cutscene's gonna kind of leave me vulnerable. Maybe only have longer cutscenes in nodes or instanced areas. Those shorter cutscenes in the open world could be cool. Like, say you're progressing through a raid and get to a boss room and there's like a 2-3 second cutscene introducing the boss. That'd be pretty neat. The worry is that if PvP is available in the open world, don't get me stuck in a cutscene when I need to be aware of the world around me. I'll just skip the cutscene. VFX and UI need work, so no complaining about it. They need info about the system, not a bunch of people telling them things that they already know. They are showing a flying mount to start. Those are going to be super rare in the future. Do not expect to get one. I think this is for the best. I think flying kills games. Can nodes send messages like that to other nodes? I like that. I hope there is a cooldown though. It'd be annoying if they could just spam us constantly. Mayoral commissions. These look super cool. These should help the mayor complete certain things for the node. As a future scout, I'll be begging my mayor to select the Scouting Miralith commission. Some of these commissions, when completed, can grant node buffs to the node's zone of influence, such as a faster gather rate. This is great too, because it holds the mayor accountable. If a mayor wants to start a war but the citizens don't want that, they simply don't complete these commissions and keep the mayor in check. I love a quest board. They sped it up here, but the intention is that a large number of citizens would have to complete these commissions to gain the benefit of those commissions. The number of citizens required for the bonus is based on the power of the commission. So I would expect for the war commission, it would take a large number of people to participate. There are 6 nodes. I wonder if that's how many nodes will be in Alpha 2. Territory war is a type of war that focuses on control over the world map. There is a victory point score that determines the success and failure. Upon success, you can siphon XP from the territory from the other node and get a luck buff in the contested territory. Negotiations have failed. It's cool seeing the tank's wall. I don't really like the design choice to have these like floaty blocks and such, but in function, I love it. Events are segments of a war at a specific time that influence the outcome of the war. And it looks like the teams are 35v31. Steven is, again, obviously on the lopsided side again. There's a few different war types that they're not showing. Like you can disable services in an opposing node, siphon gold, take over the mayorship. I feel like this list could be expanded a bit more, what would be cool is if the wars you had access to was tied to the node type you were, right? Or the node you're warring with. Like a divine node could launch a holy war and it would change the type of events and the types of victory conditions. Or like where they have to try to convert citizens or something. Scientific nodes could launch a political war seeking to take control of the mayor or oust them from the office. Economic nodes could do like a blockade war where they strictly attack trade routes and stuff. Like in the event, they could spawn caravans that they have to defend, stuff like that. Military nodes could have like a targeted war, something where they could do their war, and if they were successful, they could reduce the cost of like the next siege scroll that's used against the node. We got some objectives to chase: harvesting materials and killing monsters. This is the objective for this event. Winning this event brings you closer to winning the war. So the gathering of blood and materials is just the first phase of this event. They have to channel the God Spike to complete the event. Being able to see player movement on the map is so good for events like this. I mean, a lot of this is just like sweet looking combat. So unless something really jumps out at me, my stance is combat looks fun and I'm excited to try it. Mayor abilities that can only be used in wars and events like this are great. I'm interested to see how creative they get with these. These too can be node specific. This clip of the ranger disengaging and disappearing to safety just gives me life. One thing that events like this need is a good environment to fight in. Battle is so much more fun when the land is dynamic. Big surprise, no one is focusing on the objective. See, this fight around the ruined buildings is so much more interesting because of the layout of the environment. This will be me right here, attempting to find the best perch for my volleys. I love the ranger stealth. It's not perfect like rogues, but still some form of stealth. It's perfect. So after the first phase of the event, which was resource gathering and mob killing, there's a second phase where NPCs spawn that need to be killed by the attackers. I like that it's not just one phase, that the success of the event as a whole is linked to the success of multiple phases of the engagement. Interesting too that the first phase had the groups spread throughout the area, and as the phases progress, you can see the groups starting to come together and are less spread out, leading to these higher number PvP engagements. I haven't mentioned it, but the gameplay seems to be very smooth given the number of players involved here. I'm so glad we are getting multiple viewpoints for this. It's a great choice. Going forward, I hope when they present large-scale conflicts, they do the same thing. There is always something in these exhibits where I can see the other team holding back for the sake of the video presentation. Obviously, the purpose is to present the gameplay in a specific way, but still it's obvious sometimes. Marileth wins. By completing the event, they gain 250 points toward the overall war. A great design choice. Events feed points into the war, leading to the overall success of the war. This is great because now you can get creative with the types of events. I'm thinking if you have 1,000 points, though, if you have like 1,000 victory points for the whole war, I'm trying to decide if you should have like 4 events that are 200 points each, and then just have the overworld like kill count for 200 of it. I don't know, something like that. So wars contain phases, and phases contain events, all feeding into the success of the war. Love it. Sounds like wars will be long, and I think the longer the better. I have heard a lot about relics and stuff that nodes will possess that can have special powers. We have not seen this yet, but it seems extremely interesting. He says here that some events can involve taking their relic and reintroducing it out into the world. This is super interesting because it means that these are items in the world that will be competed over. I imagine that some nodes will declare wars on others just to potentially gain possession of valuable relics. So many names here I recognize. Love seeing it. Shout out. Here we go. Vertec Chibi of Golden Feather Tavern. I see Anduin. He's my GM. I think that's Alluring Secrets from Reddit. Fant MX of Theory Forge. And obviously a ton of devs are in here. I watch and listen to a lot of Ash's content. I highly recommend you do as well. I'm torn on proximity chat in this game. I kind of like the idea, but I also feel like it could be super trolly. I plan on mostly being a crafter, if you didn't know. I want to be a scribe and maybe a carpenter. Being able to identify ally and enemy spells is extremely important and something that seems to be currently absent. Given the scales of conflicts they intend to have, they need to nail this. So before this showcase, I was misunderstanding the way the quartered health bars would work. They don't want you to see a number on the enemy health bar. I wholeheartedly agree with this. I like not having that number, and you have to gauge your progress based on the attacks you're doing and the change in the enemy's health. But what I had wrong was that the quartered health bar doesn't diminish for each amount of damage they take, with the quarters assisting you in estimating that impact. The health bar only loses a quarter of health when they reach that amount of damage taken. At first glance, I don't like this. Seeing the impact of my attacks is really fulfilling. And while I don't need to see a number for that, I do need to see their health decreasing as I hit them. Hitting them with a couple attacks and not seeing their health move would be extremely unfulfilling. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments how wrong I am. Like and subscribe to hear me be wrong about more things. Thanks.
Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you, subscribe.